Oh, okay. So what was the most challenging shot and what's my favorite shot? Most challenging shot, definitely laser tag. Fucking by a mile. Like, I wanted to put a drill through my brain. Holy Lord, that day was crazy. My favorite shot. I mean, I love the opening shot. It makes me very happy. It's this long, complicated dolly, and Ella gets chucked out of the bar. We see the pants with the bullets and the whole "fuck you" thing and the rotting hand, and then she says, "Hey, fuck all y'all." It gives us Ella, right? And the lighting's nice, and it's wet, and it's all the things. But man, I'm trying to think of the look. Honestly, just because this is who I am. Dan getting his brains blown up makes me happy every time I see it. And I love Dan, I love Bashir the actor, R.I.P. Dan, but it looks pretty good.
The animations on the TV when they're stoned.
Oh yeah.
Maybe I missed it in the credits. Is that Preston Spurlock?
That is absolutely Preston Spurlock's work. So the animations on the television that Thomas is watching, they're like, this is terrible. Are by this animator friend of mine, Preston Spurlock in New York, who is a constant source of inspiration for what can look adorable and gross at the same time. And I called him immediately. I was like, look, they gotta watch some TV. It's gotta be sort of weird. Do you have anything that might work? And he sent me a treasure trove of just strange shit. What a joy. Have friends who are weirder than you. It's always gonna pay off. And yeah, no, the man is a gift. Hi.
There were some really lovely costume choices made during this game, and I'd love to hear during the movie, and I'd love to hear a little bit about what the thought process was, especially behind Ella's costume pieces.
Yeah, I mean Ella's costumes are fucking amazing, and not for nothing. I stole most of them. My wardrobe. Yeah. So developing Ella's costumes. The starting point was that she's a young punk, right? She had to dress like a punk kid. Her clothes had to be crusty and messed up and have holes in them and be patched and put together. She also is a super DIY person, right? She fixes her own stuff. She doodles on her own stuff. And she has to she's someone who makes herself, right? Nobody makes Ella. So she has to be a self-built creature. So everything is handmade by her. The only things that are not hers are on, I think, her orange shorts at the beginning. We had two different people draw on her shorts because half of it is her and half of it is Towns. And there's tic-tac-toe games they play on there. There's all sorts of stuff. Look, it's so nice having different departments of people who work on different stuff because there is a dedicated group of incredibly talented people who are I give a shit about what this looks like, and I'm gonna think about it so much more than I, Max, have the capacity for. And so that goes a long way. But we talked a ton about where's the line between punk and West, right? How much of this is cowboy, how much of this is Western? And it always had to fall a little more punk, because that's Ella's heart, but always tell us the story of the West. Her white jacket with the spikes has the cowgirl mermaid. Obviously her vest is fucking banging and has the cowboy hat. We talked a lot about whether or not Ella was allowed to wear a cowboy hat, and she's certainly not. Because she would think that's wrong, right? That's wrong-headed for her. And so she can have the iconography, but she's not the thing. And there are things you don't even see. She's got a pair of pants that has beautiful Gorgon painted on them. They're so fucking crazy. And it's I think you see a frame. You're cool pants. And so, yeah, I mean, you have the pleasure of that. You have the pleasure of talent. And I just get to leverage that against the entire world, which is a bonus. But finding her middle ground was important, and also little things. Her orange vest is the color of sunset, right? It's orange down to purple, right, with that ombre. And the idea of oh, well, here's Ella's sunset, she's always that thing, that cowboy hero, with the skull and the cowboy hat sitting on top of it. And so there's that big, broad metaphor happening while aesthetic is directly not that.
What was the most surprising thing you found in the edit?
Oh, what's the most surprising thing I found in the edit? That this movie did not need to be 100 minutes long. I shout out to fucking editors. Also, you know, I'm just gonna talk about how amazing everybody else is because they fucking rule. Yeah, we made a movie that was 100 minutes. Then we're like, we can tighten this up. We got down to a tight 90. We were super fucking pumped. Sent it to a buddy of ours who came back and was like, look, man, you're not making a Kenneth Lonergan movie. This is not Manchester by the Sea. Why is it such a bummer in the middle? And we got it down to 79 minutes, which is basically a short. And then we got to have some fun. But really, I think the biggest thing we took away were there were many, many scenes of Ella mourning Dan. Understandable, right? Bummer. But her dad died. We don't need to tell you why that sucks. That's not something we need to explain to anybody. And so you can get it in, I think it's like 90 seconds, maybe 2 minutes. You get it. It fucking sucks. And then we can move on with the story, right? We can tell you the revenge western. And understanding what we needed to show you and what you were going to feel intrinsically just by this being these people and their relationships was very important to kind of how the edit came together. Also, you know, just, I don't know, hire an editor who's better at your job than you are. That helps.
Wow, 3 right in a row. Okay, first, let's go closest, right there. Yes, you.
Me? Hi.
Hi,
There's
you.
a lot of comedy in this movie. In the editing, in the blocking, in the dialogue. It's already an interesting matchup of genres. Why was having funny levity in the story so intrinsic to it?
Okay, why was comedy so important in telling this story? I am incapable of not being a little goblin. You know, like, that's just me. And so if it wasn't that, it was gonna be really insincere. I couldn't tell you a story that wasn't a little silly. When I am faced with tragedy, when I am faced with dark, hard things, I am a little goofy guy. Because if I wasn't, I would burn the fucking world down. And Ella gets the pleasure of, I guess, doing both. But like, I can't fathom people who take the world seriously. And so I had to find outlets for them emotionally. You know, if it's just anger, if it's just nihilism, that's going to become very repetitive very quickly. It's going to become very boring. Angry people are one note, but angry people who can shift their emotions, you know, not to get too dark here, but like, go to any funeral. The people who are closest to the person who passed are generally trying to find some levity and find some way to cope, and oftentimes they will crack jokes. They will find ways to smile. They will find ways to exist as human beings in any way that they can. This is a movie about some hard shit, right? A lot of people die. And you will always find people who are trying to exist in as goofy a way as possible so that they can feel anything.
Right behind. Yep.
Cool. Was there ever a version of this story where Mayo did die?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Mayo died like 6 different ways. Was there ever a version where Mayo died? Yes. At one point, Mayo killed Giles, and then Ella killed Mayo. At one point, Calvin killed Mayo, because he was like, I'm just sick of your shit. At one point, I don't think Giles ever killed Mayo, but Giles did shoot Mayo, and then he dragged himself back in the house, and Ella killed Mayo. Look, we wrote like 25 versions of this movie. Everybody died at some point. I think even Ella got like shot in the neck at one point. It was like rough. Nobody got away unscathed in the many drafts. but yeah, we, we felt like we went through the emotional roller coaster in the writing process of like, what would it be if everyone got their comeuppance? And it felt clean, and it felt like it had a little bow on it, but I don't like clean. I like messy.
Okay, got time for one more question. I'm gonna go all the way in the back, way up there, last row.
Amazing film. So question for you is, you saw Lee Page talking to Ella, and she said about how she got her eye patch was because of Ella's father. And then at the very end, Ella kills Calvin and also shoots him in the eye. When did you decide to do that? Because it's pretty much full circle.
Yeah. When did we decide to shoot Calvin in the eye? Because Jan shot Lee Page in the eye. So much later than you would think. Like, explaining, like, I want you to all understand that there is no director in the world, not even dudes like David Fincher, who are like, I'm gonna do 400 fucking takes of this until it's perfect, who have the entire world in their head. That's not possible. Our brains aren't that big enough. Like, I can't even imagine 9 separate dots at the same time, let alone that. And so originally we were like, Calvin gets shot. I think that's what's in the script. Calvin gets shot. And it was the special effects makeup guys who were like, hey, wouldn't it be cool if you got shot in the eye? We were a month away from shooting the movie. 4 weeks out from shooting the movie, and I was like, fucking hey man, that would be amazing! Like, what? You're crazy. And they're like, yeah, had you not thought about this? I was like, I haven't thought about anything in a cohesive thought in a year. And so yeah, it was very late, but hey, thanks team. And yeah, like of course, why not, right? They're intrinsically linked, their stories need to come full circle, it all makes so much sense. I was a zombie at the time. But again, rely on the smarts around you.
All right, thank you all for coming. Let's have one more round of applause.
Awesome. Pretty cool.